Hello, my name is Edward L. Scott Jr., and this video is going to be a continuation of the previous video for the project Psychology at Work. I wanted to go ahead and touch down on a few topics that I forgot to touch down on initially. So to delve right on and begin, I wanted to talk about stress and why it is important in not just understanding your emotions and stress, but also understanding how your body works and what's going on with your body as you go through stress, and additionally just talk about some ways that I've not handled stress the best myself and ways that I have handled stress well. So as far as wellness, I guess to start, wellness is a state of being in good health, especially as an actively pursued goal. Wellness essentially is just defined as the overall state of well-being of an individual in all aspects of life. So how well is your life? How happy are you? Are you eating healthy? That sort of thing. Now, one thing that contributes to or affects your overall state of wellness is stress. Now, stress is something that we've definitely all dealt with. I know it's something that we may experience even on a day-to-day basis. We can all relate with it, whether you're dealing with stress in your work life, whether at the Acme Widget Company, in your home life, personal life with relationships, friends, stress with finances. Stress is just something that we can all relate to and we've all experienced, because there's no emotional experience that has a more powerful influence on us than stress. Now, essentially, stress refers to the physiological response that occurs when an organism fails to respond appropriately to emotional or physical threats. What that means is it's your body taking on a physical reaction to essentially protect you from the overwhelming mental frailties of stress or the threat that may be pursuing you at that time. Almost lost my train of thought. Now, in extreme negative events or just in extreme long prolonged events, stress can actually turn into something a bit worse, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. That is considered a medical syndrome that includes symptoms of anxiety, sleeplessness, nightmares, and social withdrawal. And again, that's typically an extreme or prolonged stress that can create that. Now, to talk about the negative effects of stress and what your body kind of goes through as we stress. Now, the general adaptation syndrome is actually what your body is going through at that time, and it refers to three distinct phases of physiological change that occur in response to long-term stress. So your first response to stress is your general alarm reaction, which is stage one. In that stage, your body releases stress hormones, including cortisol. Stage two is resistance. After a period of chronic stress, your body starts to adapt to the ongoing threat and tries to return to its normal functions. Just one of the same as when you get sick, your immune system is trying to attack the cells that are obviously trying to harm your body. One and the same, so glucose levels will increase to sustain energy and blood pressure increases. We've all heard that saying, you make my blood pressure rise. Again, it's kind of stemmed from that, which is indeed true. And again, it's not really necessarily good for one's body. And stage three is exhaustion. Now, it's typically the most felt stage of stress, whether you just dealt with a long, stressful day at work and you're exhausted. You had a long, stressful day, out with the family, or it's been a long, stressful day at, with the kids, or with a friend, or at work. Like I said, that's usually when your body hits that last stage and you're just exhausted and tired. And we've all experienced that stage. Now, how do we prevent stress and how do we cope with stressful events? Now, there's ways to obviously cope with stressful events. Now I'm just going to go with through some positive ways that can, of course, help lead to, positive view on life as a whole. So emotion regulation is just that. That's the ability to control our emotions. Now, particularly in stressful or uber anxiety situations, or just tense situations, it may be the hardest time to use that, emotion regulation. When you're mad, it's hard to stop what you're, about to say because you're just in the moment. You're just angry, or when you're sad and you're hurt, you say something you don't mean. That goes along with emotion regulation. Controlling yourself and realize, I need to calm down. I need to gain control of my emotions and realize that I'm in control of myself. Now, the power of positive thinking is another one that I wanted to talk about, such as optimism. Example, do you view the cup as half empty or half full? which is essentially, are you looking at things in a negative light? Are you being cynical on how you look at things? Having a positive view will ultimately change your outlook on life, and actually can help lead to overall positive well-being. Now, another thing is self-efficiency. One thing I relate to as self-efficient, what I like to call is the self-fulfilling prophecy. With self-efficiency, an example is I will be able to accomplish my goal. Speaking things into fruition, you set it in motion by saying it will come true. When I was growing up, we actually called that the self-fulfilling prophecy, which is kind of like, well, I won't be nothing, I'll never amount to anything. And unfortunately, because you always believe that, you never tried, and unfortunately you end up in that exact circumstance. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy because you yourself motivated yourself to not do anything, and had you had spoken positive things into light, maybe a positive outcome would have been the result of that. And lastly, hardiness is another one I wanted to talk about. And hardiness, an example of that is, I believe today will be a good day, therefore I will be able to accomplish my goals today. So it's kind of a mix between optimism and self-efficiency. It's kind of going along with what I just said with the self-fulfilling prophecy as well. I believe today will be a good day. I do believe today will be a good day, and so it will be. And that type of positive attitude will not allow things to affect you or get in your way, or letting things get you down so much. Now, I guess to discuss a stressful event that I dealt with, just even at work within the Acme Widget Company, or not necessarily with the current Acme Widget Company, just with a previous employer. A stressful event that I had to endure was applying for a position. We've all done that. Each one of us, we have our own goals and desires and dreams. Some of us comfortable in our positions. Some of us seek to move into different positions, take on new challenges, and take on new sets of skills. Essentially, I wanted to do that. And I remember, working hard, busting my behind to get the position, and a coworker or a peer of mine was also, gunning for the position. And the ending result was that they got the position, but the stressful part that came into place for myself was I had to train the individual once they were hired for the position to, do the daily duties and tasks. I felt that wasn't fair. It stressed me out on a day-to-day basis, knowing that I obviously have the skills and qualities, because I have to train the person who now has got the position, which in my mind didn't make any sense. And I didn't really handle it the best way. I didn't really, vocalize, I guess, my stress in the best manner. I was very verbal about, not wanting to, about feeling uncomfortable about training someone that obviously took a position that I was gunning for, and the fact that I'm being pretty much almost forced to train them to do something that I wanted to do and that I'm qualified to do. Didn't handle the situation the best. I would go home at night, just exhausted from stressful days, probably skip dinner, just stress, which essentially isn't good because my body's losing out on the nutrition it needs. Again, it goes back to the stages of stress we went through. I'm exhausted at the end of the day, and I really wasn't doing anything about it, just kind of keeping things bottled up, and then eventually I had to leave. In today's day and age, when I deal with stressful events, like say with the Acme Widget Company, meeting deadlines, I actually handle my stress a lot more. When I get to those points where I feel like, man, I don't know if I can do it, I stop and use my hardiness or self-efficiency and say, no, you can definitely do this. You're going to meet this deadline, and we're going to get this done, at A1. And essentially that's what gets me through my stressful and hard times. I also work out. Exercise is definitely a good way of relieving stress, and also just treating your body right. It's a good way to build confidence as well. Your diet obviously is a good you want to stay healthy, eat good things. It's a big contributing factor of how your body feels. If you're eating junk food and you're feeling junky and crabby, it's typically because of that. But again, how I handled stress before wasn't the best, and how I handle stress now, I typically do use more of a positive view and outlook on things, where I use my hardiness and self-efficiency and optimism. I don't necessarily let things get bottled up, and if I had a hard day, I go to the gym afterwards, work off the steam, get it out of my system, and you feel better afterwards. But that is my experience on how I've dealt with stress and how I've overcome stress and just stressful situations in my life. And as well, those are ways that you can also deal with and cope with stress. I definitely hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a great day.